Hello and welcome to another from the Ginger and the Metrolink Coffee Club. Today's video is on the Manchester Metrolink. We're starting here at St Peter's Square, and from there we'll head into South Manchester. But before we do that, let's have a look at some of the trams that are coming and going from here, and then let's head to some of the stations in and around South Manchester. So let's hit the rails, get on the train and see where we end up. There's just something about Manchester in the sun that just hits different. Probably because it's normally raining and we've all got umbrellas on. But we've had like 2 or 3 weeks of sustained sunshine. And one thing the sun really helps with is making these look even better than they normally do. This is Deansgate Castlefield, formerly known as GMEX. And that, across the way over there, is Deansgate Station. I've got a train from there once or twice, and that's about it. But this part of Manchester is getting it's getting taller. But all these can get as tall as you want, they'll never be. That's the original Beetham Tower. So Deansgate's getting taller, and down here was once one of the premier night spots of Manchester. Sadly no more. There's one part of Manchester that has changed drastically over the years. But what I thought I'd do in this video is like show different parts of the network and what like on just random days of the week. And I thought, let's start on a Tuesday. I've not done trams in a while, and I felt, if I did Piccadilly again, I would after doing it last time, I thought it's not really good to do much, there's not much difference. And I am going to try and get more train stations in and around the north of England done. Because I did enjoy going to Preston, and I might go there again and I might throw a new one in there every now and then, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, started off in St. Peter's Square, now it's Deansgate Castlefield. Can you guess where we're going next?
Deansgate is operated on Metrolink trams and platforms. This includes the use of e-cigarettes.
If you can just see down there, we passed it on the other side. A goods train waiting to go through Deansgate. Now this is what kind of makes Cornbrook kind of like a tram spot, a train spot part of the network, because train is literally there, tram is here, but there's no link between the two. And considering the speeds some of the trains come through here, I think that's what we're going to stay as it is. I mean, you've just got diesels up there, as you've seen, so you've not really got far to go to a train. Have you really, to be honest? But yeah, Cornbrook is like one of the main parts of the network where you can change. You can go to the Trafford Centre, Manchester Airport, Altrincham, the Etihad, Eccles, Media City. Most parts of the network have a tram that come through here. The ones that don't, might as well put one here that it doesn't. But yeah, Cornbrook is a massive market, and as you can see, it's a station that's in two zones. So like if you tapped in and say, I don't know, St. Peter's Square, you tapped in here, technically you're going into one zone. If you go to Trafford Bar, you're going to two zones. But just to like save on money, some of the stations are in two zones, which helps me because bit of train action. As I was saying, saves me money from when I'm going to the drop centre from Sale. I don't have to buy an extra ticket to come to Cornbrook and change, which is good. So now we're going to have a mixture of stations all over the network, with the B network trams taking prime real estate on this vlog. So let's go somewhere a bit different, shall we? So first station, as you can probably tell by the huge floodlight behind me, is Old Trafford. Now you're probably thinking, Paul, what's that Old Trafford that we need to see? Well, behind is the new Metrolink depot. In fact, you can just see it above the fence line. And it's home to Lancashire County Cricket Club, and just down there the current 17th best team in the Premier League, Manchester United. And there's also a train station around here that is no longer called that. But anywhere near that stadium wearing this particular team's colours. So I'll wait for a different day to go and see that, because I don't think I'll be warmly received. Well, this station is only served by one line, the Altrincham services, and that's weird. Two doubles within a minute of each other. Somebody tells me one of them is late. But to walk down to the now no longer used train stop at Old Trafford, and one of the newest tram stops on the network. And I guarantee the weather will not be like this. Now this was part of the OG line, which opened back in 1992. Prior to that, it was a British railway line, so instead of trams it had been trains, and only certain stations have kept their sort of British rail charm. One of them is this one. It's not Brooklands, it's not Dane Road, it's Sale. That way is Altrincham and the Mid-Cheshire line all the way to Chester. I need to do a video on that on the channel, because even though that line does take a long time to do, it is quite a nice train journey. And that way is the way we've just come from Old Trafford and Manchester. Obviously the bike place is new, but this is old British Railway station. Looks very nice, especially in the sunshine. And all the yellow of the B network shining brightly in the sunshine as well. So this line does normally Altrincham to Piccadilly and Altrincham to Bury. However, when there's like problems in the city centre, it goes Altrincham to Bury or Altrincham to Piccadilly. Engineering works put paid to one of those two lines every other week. In fact, here's the latest schedule. So the Manchester Metrolink is getting a few engineering works. It's had engineering works in the centre of town for weeks, replacing the tram line from, where was it now? Market Street past Shoedale to Victoria. So, yeah. So what we're going to do now is go to another station, but it's slightly more newer than this. And as I've got 99 others to choose from, which one do you think it's going to be? probably guessed by this, that little bit of aerial on here, we're at the end of the line, Altrincham. Also a station on the mid-Cheshire line all the way down to Chester. It's currently 11:12 AM. The train going to Piccadilly is not here till 12 o'clock, and the one going towards Chester is not here till 25 to 12, so don't think we'll see any train action, unfortunately. But yeah, I remember coming here when I had to go to school, and it did not look as nice as it does now. They've spent money on it, and money well spent, I've got to say. So this is, at this end of the railway anyway, one of two stations that seamlessly connects to the train. The other one is just down there, and we'll go through it before we head back up towards Manchester. And throughout the years, Altrincham has just been, Altrincham Tunes especially, I remember when it used to just be just this run-down relic, and it needed a good upgrade. And they also improved the bridge, because that looked awful back in the day. So well done, Greater Manchester Transport, for fixing all that up. So then we'll get a few trams down here. There is some delays around the network today. There are problems on the north side of Manchester, so I'll probably stick to the south side of Manchester for today's video anyway. We'll do the north at another time. But for me, we will go back towards Manchester, and then we will tick off a few more stations. We will go onto the Eccles line and the East Didsbury / Manchester Airport line. Because why not? Let's get some trams at Altrincham first, shall we? Normally it's the opposite way around, like doubles will go to Bury and singles go to Piccadilly. For some reason they've switched it round. Why then? Why not? Now, we could use that to get to that tram to take us back towards Manchester, or we could go a way that is my preferred way of doing it, because, you know, who wants to go up and down stairs? Not many people. And to show you just a little bit more of what Altrincham Station used to be like. Because you used to be able to walk along here, where that fence is and where it says passengers will not cross this line. That wasn't always like that, because you can see a walkway that comes all the way down here, past DJ23 and DJ25, Deansgate Junction, which is just past Navigation Road. And if you look at the side, it stops just where those cameras are. I'm probably on camera right now showing you, but never mind. And you used to be able to cross there, go across the train line. Obviously you have to look both ways and make sure there was no train coming, because just past that bridge is a bit of a left turn, and you'd come out here, up there, round here, to the trams. Somebody got rid of it, health and safety and stuff like that, I get it, but, you know, 16 years ago I used to do that route. God, I make myself feel old when I say that. Let's get on something that, well, the network's, well, this part of the network's as old as me, but these trams aren't as old as me, so let's get on the trams and head back towards the city of Manchester, shall we? goes towards Stockport and then in through Piccadilly. Actually goes under the tram again when it gets to Wythenshawe. But again, don't want to show you a railway line with no trains on it, would I? You know, that would be a bit boring. But the Manchester line is definitely something we need to do, because when it gets out of here, Hale, Ashley, Motherley, Knutsford, Plumley, and all the way up to Delamere, some of the scenery is gorgeous. But we're going to head back to Manchester as we are now and go and see the station I mentioned before, the disused train line, and also a part of the Trafford Centre line. Can you guess the station? So there is the now disused train station called Manchester United Football Ground. Quite apt, as it's right next door to Old Trafford, home of Manchester United. Oh, train. And I misspoke at Old Trafford when we were down there, when I was in a different shirt. They're not 17th, they're 16th. So that's not had any trains in 8 years. I'm sorry, 7 years. Because the club said, due to health and safety reasons, trains can't call them, supporters can't use it. And we all know the problems that Manchester United are currently experiencing with like rats and all the water falling from the roof and stuff like that. So it's not just stadium that they've had problems with, it's also the train station. But to get from here to the Trafford Centre line, we need to go past Old Trafford down towards the Imperial War Museum. But we're not going to the Imperial War Museum stop first, we're going to another one. So let's head over there now, shall we? So for many years, Old Trafford tram stop used to be the closest tram stop to there, Manchester United Football Ground. But if you walk down Charlotte Ferguson Way, you now get to the new closest tram stop to Old Trafford. And it only opened, I've had to put the date it opened, and on a line that I think was desperately needed after they pulled the express bus from Stretford. And it is the very first time I've ever got a tram or seen, well, yeah, got a tram from this tram stop. So first for me on this channel today. Here we go. So the next station call on our tram spotting and tram station journey, Wharfside. I've got to say, I mean, this part of Old Trafford, Salford Quays, has gone through massive regeneration over the years. And as one of the newest, or newer, tram stops on the network, I've got to say it does look rather nice. And it is only served by trams that go to and from the Trafford Centre to Deansgate, Castlefield. As we've seen at the start of the video, that was formerly known as GMEX. But there, across the water, is Media City. Now, instead of going on tram to Media City today, I just thought I'd show you from here. We have seen Media City on a previous Metrolink video, in fact I'll put a link to that in the description down below. Home of now the British Broadcasting Corporation and ITV. In fact, just down there, in fact I'll show you when we get to our next stop, that one of the longest running soap operas on British TV is now made just down this railway, just down this tram line. But we're not here for soaps and match of the day, we are here for trams. So they're both 2 to 3 minutes away, so this is going to be quite fun. We're going to see these arrive and depart. This is one thing that is I've seen it that many times from the tram window, I thought I've got to go and see this. Like, you know, you think it, you know your garden gnomes that you have in your garden, obviously. Well, being in, well, Manchester Salford Quays, we've got one beat. Gnome Island! Why not? I mean, I was like, is that real? Yeah, sure enough, Gnome Island. I'm sure there's several puns I can think of right now, but I'm not going to, because I've got no need to, so we'll be fine. Anyway, let's see the trams.
Camping is operated on Metrolink trams and platforms. This includes
Now, I did think we're getting the tram, but to the next stop. But how many times in Manchester do we not have, or do we have, sunshine with no rain? Very rarely, but for the past month, it's been wall-to-wall sunshine, which sounds great. But when you work at night and you've got to sleep during it, it's not fun. But you know, we will overcome. On the ship canal, there's the bridge that can go up and down, and you can get to the Lowry Outlet Mall and your apartment in Media City that costs a fortune. But we're more interested in what's on this side of the Manchester Ship Canal. I don't know if you can see it through the trees, but our next stop is literally not that far away. As it was a wonderful day, I thought, you know what, let's have a bit of scenery in the video, shall we? And here it is, our next stop. Imperial War Museum. As it's known, Imperial War Museum North. That's I think the real Imperial War Museum's down in London. So this is its North Division. Oh, tram! We're actually doing a video inside there. One of the first videos we ever did. Where we saw the Harrier jump jet suspended from the ceiling. You used to be able to climb up that shard-like structure. You can't do it anymore. But there's something parked at the front of it that tells you exactly what kind of museum, apart from its name. Tells you what kind of museum this is. And there are not many places in Manchester you get to see one of these parked outside. The tram stop is literally just there. You can just see it through the fence. There's the sign for it. But let's go and see the car park. I know that sounds quite boring. Let's go and see the car park of a museum, and I know that sounds boring, but trust me, there's not many places you see one of these in Manchester. I could say it's the coaches, but it's not. I could say it's one of the cars. It's not. It's a T-55 tank. This wasn't the video we did here, but I thought, you know what, as we're here, let's go and see it. Soviet Union Cold War tank. Captured from Iraqi forces in 2003. Obviously, don't climb on it. It does say that, because you would get hurt, and I wouldn't want to either climb on it or have to go against it, so yeah, T-55 tank, why not? Most widely used tank of all time and is still in use around the world today. I mean, I know the tram stops at football stadiums and cricket stadiums and music venues and train stations, but how many of them stop in front of a tank? So as we walk out of the Imperial War Museum, I've actually walked into the car park, done that bit, and then we're going out again. Let's go and see some trams. So even though we are at Imperial War Museum, Midi City tram stop is just over there, over the water. Trafford is there, Wharfside's about 2 minutes away down there, and Old Trafford tram stop is about a 15-minute walk in that direction. There's like 3 different lines within about a 20-minute walk of each other. Obviously when you get to Cornbrook and GMEX, they all converge, but I do like this office building behind me. I mean, it doesn't look like it's being used, just the fact it's like all glass. I mean, imagine on a sunny day, it's quite hot in there, but there we go. But yeah, like, even though it's dead, like when it's in the centre of town, they're all mixed together, they all have to like decide who goes first and stuff like that. And it's just amazing how like when it spreads out, how close some of the actual stations on the different lines are. But we're going to head in that direction, past the tank, and up past Coronation Street, to the end of the line, because, you know, we all want to see the traffic centre on a video, don't we? So I admit, this is not the actual end of the line. The Trafford Centre finish line is down there where the tram we just got off and the tram that's going the opposite way are coming to and from. This is Barton Dock Road. Amazing they didn't change it to the Trafford Palazzo, but there we go. Now I was going to record the tram we got leaving, but you know, loud music kind of put a pay to that one. So instead, we're going to watch this one arrive. And then we're going to go across that bridge and give you the full view of it. So let's see 3099 arrive, shall we? Show you from up there, but if I did, assume that this video would get copyrighted because I'd use copyrighted music and I ain't about that alive. So here are pictures I took from on top of that bridge. You can see the tram when it's on its way back, and it goes through Trafford Park, and the stop at Trafford Centre. Now, this is the newest line on the whole network because it's been needed for years. I mean, they pulled the express bus they did from Stretford, and for years it was like, well, you need to link this up, guys, and they linked Ashton up, they linked Eccles up, Media City, the airport, and I was like, come on, Trafford Centre. And then finally the Trafford Centre got it. And the Trafford Centre, apart from it being, well, the biggest, or one of the biggest shopping centres in the north, also has Asda next to it, Costco next to it, B&Q next to it, and as I currently record this video, it is the closest Metrolink station to Salford Red Devils. What's going on with that club at the minute? I genuinely have no idea. I mean, it's horrible. Well, yeah, the AJ Bell is not far from this, from here. It's a bit of a walk, but you can do it, especially on a day like today. I'm not going to, obviously I've got to get into Manchester again, so I will go to the AJ Bell eventually. I have been to it a couple of times, but yeah, hopefully Salford Red Devils get it sorted and are still in the league. I hope. Anyway, let's see some more trams and then we'll head back towards Manchester. Two in one. Right, let's get on the tram. So, further down the line from the Trafford Centre and back towards Manchester, we arrive at one of the most desolate connector stations on the network, Pomona. It's quite literally in the middle of nowhere, apart from that office building that I've never seen anyone in as long as I've got the tram. In fact, it's to let as we speak. You connect from here up to the Trafford Centre, which goes that way. Eccles and Media City, which go over there towards Deansgate, Castlefield and, well, Manchester, basically. Now, here's something you don't often see anywhere on the network anymore. The old school signage. There's many examples of that left. So Pomona's a hidden gem, if you like your old school Manchester Metrolink signs. And I mean, Metrolink trams, the old ones, there's not many of them left. There's one at Heaton Park that I'm yet to see. There's one at the Crewe Heritage Museum, which we've seen and been on. Well, not been on. We've been at the one at the Manchester Transport Museum. We've been on that one. Definitely need to go back to that because that was one of my highest performing videos. But you don't want to hear me rabbit on. You want to see some trams? Well, you're in luck. Now this one from Media City or Eccles is on its way to the side of the network we'll do in the next video. Ashton-under-Lyne via the Etihad. Wonder what last tram was that last night when Man City had their last home game. I've got to say though, on a lovely day like today, there's not many places I'd much rather be than, you know, in the sunshine, doing a video on trams when the trains are rolling past. Well, if you can just see over my shoulder, if that's an office block, or probably an office block, they've got a terrace, which I can guarantee will not be used in a couple of weeks' time when it's just raining. So anyway, next tram, Eccles. Coming around that bend. Anytime now. We've been spoiled by East Midlands today. Here's another one. So our next stop is out again of Manchester, but on this side of Manchester. What you will notice is another clothes change and a lack of, well, trams. So I'll take you back in time to another terminating station on the Metrolink network. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm filming this on a different day, hence the change of clothes. But it wouldn't be a Metrolink video if it didn't involve, or one of my videos anyway, if it didn't involve a certain location. Bus station, train station and tram station all rolled into one. You're thinking, I know which one it is. Piccadilly, you'll be wrong. This is me talking about. It's this place.
Reduce the number of security elements by keeping your luggage with you at all times.
Manchester Airport. Now, there's delays on the Altrincham line. Sorry, the airport line because of a problem with the unit. So I might not be using the tram to get home. So we'll see what happens. There we go, a trip round some of the Metrolink stations in South Manchester. You recognise this one? If it is now, there's a tram. So, I'm going to end the video here. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. If you did, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button for this video. Me and the coffee cup will see you in the next one.